Okay, adjusting the shifting mechanism on a Montague Paratrooper bike involves this trigger shift mechanism. Basically, it's a two-stage thing. We have a thumb trigger, which is normally done with the riding hand thumb, which will put us in one direction. And then we have a trigger mechanism. The thumb thing you push, the trigger mechanism you pull, and you'll see how that does a course movement because that's on the front gear section. And then I would push that to the second one. Now, if for some reason that's rubbing while it's in another gear, there's a couple of ways to do an adjustment. One of them is that there's a Allen bolt right here that we would loosen up this thing, tighten that cable, and then work with that. Generally on the front sprocket, you shouldn't have to do that. The newer models use a thicker cable that doesn't stretch. So for the front, pretty much all of your adjustment is just to make sure that the notches actually mean a gear and you're not rubbing when you're partway through one, is this thing right here. You would turn that, and as you turn it, you will be able to see a little bit of movement there. And you can actually do this while riding also. You just have to reach around, and depending on the position you have with your shifter or brake assembly on the handlebar will be whether or not you can see this or whether you do it by feel, but this is the adjuster for that. Now for the rear sprocket, there's additional adjustment points. There's one up here. It's kind of under the strap. There we go, right there. And that you would do the same level of adjustment. The thing is, for the rear, because there's more gears and the way the derailleur works a little bit differently, it's a little bit more sensitive. So they also put one of these little knob adjusters down here. And so with this little knob adjuster down here, you can make some adjustments here. It's very subtle. But if you've got chain rubbing issues, then that's another spot where you can make some adjustments. Last and least is loosening this up and tensioning off that cable a little bit, which you really want to avoid if you can. You should be able to make all of your adjustments on a relatively new bike, either with this little tensioner or the one at the shifter, to make sure that it's going to be at the right one in the gear. Now on this one, the thumb lever is what goes to a higher gear. On this one, the thumb lever goes to a lower gear, and then you pull the trigger to go to a higher gear. So you just want to figure out what gears you're going to be in the most comfortable riding position. And then you can do some little fine adjustments even while you're riding. You can kind of reach around here and do fine adjustments while you're riding to make sure that you're not rubbing on a derailleur. And it's something to really keep an eye open in order to avoid chain skipping. So your adjustments are here, here, and here. If it's in a pinch and you feel the cable's been stretched too much, you would make an adjustment either here by loosening that little Allen bolt and then pulling the cable through a little bit, or here by loosening the little Allen bolt and pulling the cable through a little bit, which you really want to avoid on this one. It's kind of tricky to deal with. So try to just do your adjustments up here at the shifter levers, and that's how you would deal with that.